Hi guys, welcome back to Cooking Delights. Today I'm going to concentrate on a carnivore recipe. To start with, we're going to make a taco seasoning which is low carb. And the reason why I'm doing a carnivore recipe is because this is the way I eat. I eat carnivore for health reasons. So to start off with, we're going to add a quarter of a cup of chili powder. If you want yours extra spicy, add more. If you don't, add less. I'm using a quarter of a cup. The next ingredient is garlic powder, and we're going to use 4 teaspoons of garlic powder. Just get my teaspoon measurement. Okay, so that is 4 teaspoons of garlic powder. The next ingredient is paprika powder, and we're going to add 2.5 teaspoons of paprika. Next we've got ground cumin, and we're going to add 3 tablespoons of cumin. And another reason why I do a taco seasoning and make my own is because if you want to truly stay low carb as possible, it's better just to make your own. And the reason being is, when you buy taco seasoning from the shop, it's always got extra fillers into it which can bump up your carb content. So this way you're controlling how many carbs you have. And our last ingredient is pink Himalayan salt, the best salt you can buy. And we're going to have 2 tablespoons of salt. And if you're on a low carb or you're on a carnivore diet, salt is extremely important in your diet. And then all we do now is give it a mix. And basically that is your very homemade low carb taco seasoning. Right, we've just made our taco seasoning. As you can see, I have now transported it into a jar that is airtight, and so it stops it from going damp, and it will keep for quite a while. So for the next recipe, as part of this recipe of your taco omelette wraps, is a large pack of minced beef, salt to taste, pepper to taste, cream, cheese, eggs, and bacon grease for frying. Right, we're going to start frying our mince, and if you saw my last recipe on chili, you'll understand how to fry this without adding water to your dish. So go check that out, guys. I'm just going to break the mince up. Right, as you can see now, it's nearly cooked, so we're going to give it a stir and try and break it up as much as you possibly can. And if you notice, there's quite a lot of fat in this one this time, guys, and the reason is, if you're following a carnivore diet like I am, you will need to have this fat. If you're not following a carnivore diet, then you would drain this out, but I don't. And the reason is for that is because I eat 1 meal a day. I do intermittent fasting. I'm not going to go into that at the minute. I'm just going to concentrate on the recipe. But if you would like to hear more about that, I will put that in future videos. So we're just going to stir it until all the meat is cooked. The next step of our carnivore taco is to add the seasoning. Now you can go as frugal or as much as you want. This is to your own personal taste. It is quite spicy, so I'm just going to add a nice sprinkle on. It may look a lot, but we've not added too much chili powder. And you want a good coating because you want to actually taste the taco seasoning in your minced beef. I think that will do. And then we're going to fry that. You can taste this along the way if you want to, just to see if it's to your spiciness. If not, add more. It's always best to start with a little bit and then add more as you go along. And then what we're going to do next is, and we've stirred it all in, is to add my lovely garlic pepper. Good sprinkle. And then we're going to cook that for about 2 minutes to cook off the raw spices, and then I'll get back to you with the next step. So this is what it should look like. Now you've added your taco seasoning. We've fried it for a couple of minutes and we've took out the rawness of the spices. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take it off the heat and put it to one side. The next part is making the omelettes. So what we're going to do, we're going to crack 4 eggs into our jug. And this should make 2 omelettes. And again, I'm going to add a touch of seasoning. And as I've always said, salt is very important on a carnivore diet. So I'm not going to add too much though, I'm just going to add a little splash. And then we're going to give that a good mix. The next part of the recipe is to make the omelettes. The most important thing I use in my carnivore diet is bacon grease. So every time I cook bacon, I will save the grease and use it for cooking. I don't use any oils whatsoever, I just use what I get from the animal. So we're going to add, say, about a teaspoon in, and we're going to swirl it around our frying pan. To melt it. We don't want it too high, maybe medium low. I'm just going to let that bubble up. Give our eggs a little bit of a stir. And we're going to add half of the egg mixture to the frying pan. So make sure, a couple of things guys to make sure, is that the chopping board that you're working from is exceptionally clean, because what we're going to do, we're going to put the omelette straight onto the chopping board. So what I'm doing now is I'm swirling around because I want to get as much volume as I can in my omelette. And it's preferable to have a non-stick pan, guys. The worst thing you need to do is to try and get an omelette out and it sticks. So we're just going to continue to swirl, and it doesn't matter if it's not fully cooked. We don't want it fully cooked because it's going to be cooking it in the oven. We just want to get it slightly brown underneath, and you can check that. So we'll just give it another minute or two to cook. With that complete, I'm going to put it on straight onto our chopping board, and then I'm going to cook straight in and get on with the second omelette. You don't need to add any more oil or cooking fat to your pan because obviously it's got a little bit of residue left in the bottom, so we're just going to add the second one in. And again, swirl it round, and when it's done I'll show you the next step. What we're going to do now, we're going to add the mince to our omelettes. Now this is a lot of mince, we're not going to use all of this, I'm going to use this for another recipe, so stay tuned for that guys, for part 2. So I'm just going to divide this recipe in half. And then what we want to do is, my hands are washed, it's very important these days to wash your hands, is add all the way across. Be generous for your meat filling. So if you're eating one meal a day like I do, I have to make sure that I get all my nutrients in one sitting. So you want to look for something like that. And then what we're going to do then is we're going to add some cheese. Don't worry, there's going to be more cheese going to be added to the top. But we're going to add a little bit in the centre, so it looks something like this. And then all we do then is we take it and we wrap, and then we quickly add it to our dish. You want a snug dish so it fits in comfortably, you don't want it flapping about. And then we're just going to proceed and do the second one. The last part is we're going to add a bit of double cream, and the double cream helps it from drying out. Put as much or as little as you want. I'm just going to put a little bit of a splash on the top. And then the good stuff, cheese. I don't have it very often, but when I do have it on this, I do like to add plenty of cheese. And guys, you can put as much or as little cheese as you want to. And this recipe that I eat, when I eat this, will last me for 24 hours, so I won't eat until the next evening. As you can see, it's extremely cheesy. Okay. Oh, just a little bit more down the side. Okay. So. And the last part, for decorative purposes, we're going to add our lovely garlic pepper. And again, my hands are clean. I'm going to sprinkle in the last bit of the mince. And I've already preheated my oven to 180. And I haven't got a particular time that it takes to cook. If you notice, all the ingredients are cooked, so really what you want to do is just melt the cheese and get it bubbly. So I would look at it after 15 minutes, and then if it isn't done by then, maybe put it in for an extra 5 minutes. I've transferred the meal to a cooking sheet because, as you can see, there is quite a lot of amount of cheese on here, so it may dribble and fall over the sides, so you want to protect your oven. So we're going to add this to a 180 oven. For around 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, this is the finished product. Let's just take it out. So I suggest that you put it on the plate because you can eat it straight out of the bowl. Please be wary, as you can see it's piping hot. So I will give it at least 10 to 15 minutes before you start eating it.